If you have owned a dog before, I guess you might be thinking of getting a Shiba because of its personality and possibly because of its cute appearance. Would you want a dog that needs to be around you all the time, that is very obedient, that you can easily have off-leash in public? If these are requirements, then a Shiba might not be for you. If that's the case, everything you know about dogs and dog ownership will go right out the window. They're not like other dogs at all. I'm guessing that you know about most of the pros and are doubting whether you should get a Shiba because of its cons most people have touted and talked about. You can look at the Shibas as having the default personality of a demon with a superiority complex. And we think that if you never have owned a Shiba before, your challenge is to get past the first 1 to 2 years of owning a Shiba. And it's not just us who are pointing out the challenge with this breed. Soon we are going to tell you about a study from Japan that included 56 pure breed Shibas that also found that they had unfavorable traits. Learn about every con of owning a Shiba, not just reading about it. And every Shiba is different too. But let's start with the pros first. Shiba Inu intrigues many people. From their unique appearance to their intelligence and independence, they amaze humans every day. We found some pros of owning a Shiba Inu, and we will start with their intelligence and independence. Shiba Inus are intelligent dogs who know how to use it to their advantage. They will use it to suit their needs. It might seem selfish, but it is the way they do stuff. They also have a strong character which helps them to make their own decision. This can help them stay independent even if you are a busy owner. The Cambridge University did a survey on 364 dog owners about training dogs. You will learn the most efficient way to train your dog. And with good behavior comes independence. But we will get back to you later on this issue in the training section. Shiba Inus are fast learners. This will help them learn how to adapt to various situations. Unlike other breeds, they can be analytical and thoughtful. This means that they will find a solution to any problem they are in. Whether your dog is in some dangerous situation, it will know how to react. For example, they can learn how to stay calm and cautious when crossing the street. Or they will know they don't have to eat everything in front of them, because this is also a very dangerous situation. It might not seem very dangerous when hearing it for the first time, but it is a dangerous situation. They can also learn how to stay calm. Staying alone for too long can be very stressful for them, but they can adapt fast with your help. If you have a busy schedule, you have to create a good routine for them. This will keep them occupied and entertained. They will learn how to explore and enjoy their surroundings without destroying them. Shibas are not only clever, they also stand out because of how unique and beautiful they look. In simple terms, they're not too small and not too big. They look much bigger and sturdier because of their recognizable coat. Their coat helps them adapt to different weather conditions, including cold winters. Once you see how cute they walk while shaking their booty, you will adore them. Their tail is bushy and curls over their back. You will recognize a Shiba Inu immediately due to their pointed ears and fox-like look. Their triangular ears give them an alert look. They also have almond-shaped eyes. Here is one fact about Shiba Inu that you might not know. Black and tan Shiba Inus have actual eyebrows. Can you believe that? All Shiba Inus have white markings. They only differ in their color. The coloring includes red, red sesame, black, or tan. People do not love them only because of their looks. There is much more to Shiba Inu than looks. They have an expressive face, combined with their bold and spirited nature. They amaze humans every day. Shiba Inu stand out with their stunning appearance, but they only make life easier with their cleanliness. You will have minimal grooming efforts with them. And this is how and why. Shiba Inu's owners often compare them to cats. That is because cats groom themselves alone. You might notice extra saliva around Shibas. That is because they lick themselves. This is their way of doing your job as an owner. You should know this because increased licking in Shibas does not mean anxiety. It is their way of staying clean and tidy. With this, not only will you spend less time grooming them, but you will also save a lot of money, because grooming can be very expensive. These dogs also keep their living space tidy. They have fewer potty incidents than other dog breeds. Even as puppies, they learn this habit very fast. We know that some Shibas can become mad when left alone and can poop or pee inside on purpose. But Shibas are not the only ones who are doing this. Other dogs can make this incident on purpose too. But it is less likely to happen with Shiba Inus because they like a clean environment more than they like lying on their own pee or poop. which is why one of the first things a Shiba learns is not to poop or pee inside. Shibas do not need frequent baths, but it does not mean that you will have a doggy odor in your home. They have a pleasant scent, but when it comes to other smells, it's like they're saying, farts are just my way of sharing my essence. But it is the perfect pet for you if you want a low-maintenance dog. But still, they don't like getting dirty, and they don't smell like dogs even when they're wet. The good thing is they don't shed a lot. You will have minimal cleaning, only when it is the shedding season. Then you might put some extra effort into cleaning. But if you brush your Shiba often, 2 to 3 times per week, you will prevent shedding. The catch to this is during the shedding season. They may shed more than normal, so expect a tornado during the shedding season. Their dense double coat sheds in a normal way, but the good thing is that it helps them regulate their body temperature. This keeps them comfortable in various weather conditions. Shiba Inus will save your budget with their low grooming habits, but besides this, they will show you their loyalty and affection in other ways. We said that Shiba Inus are independent, but they form strong bonds with their owners. They enjoy giving and receiving affection. Although they do not show that in an obvious way, they love their humans. We say they do not show it because they are not the typical cuddler dog breed. Shibas will cuddle their owner, but not for too long. This does not mean they will not protect and devote themselves to their owners. If you are looking for a cuddler, this might be a good dog for you. It only means they will cuddle whenever they feel there is something in it for them. Often, it's never given freely, and a positive interaction usually requires you to give them something of high value, such as treats or toys. It can be quite a transaction and dynamic feeling. If you are like them, this will make you two ideal companions. The closest some Shibas come as cuddling is to curl around your ankles, but it is important to consider a few challenges that might come with owning one. Let's take a look at the cons of owning a Shiba Inu. We can't honestly and wholeheartedly recommend this breed unless you have the time, patience, and energy. And we don't think that it's worth having a Shiba Inu just because of how cute it looks. Because you are also responsible for a life. With the default personality of a demon with a superiority complex, these are just the generic traits for these breeds. But there are always exceptions to the rule. And you will never know about the dog's personality before you have the dog. And many of these traits can be trained so that it doesn't become a big problem in the future. It means that if you train the Shiba, you can maybe make it more social than if you did not train it. But you can be unlucky that you would get a Shiba that would be impossible to train. It's a bit sad to say, but it's a bit like playing Russian roulette here. Meaning you can have a litter where one Shiba is cuddly 24/7 and super lazy, and another dog from the same litter is all about playing. And you will never know whether you get a dog that could be hired as a pro negotiator by the FBI or a rebellion of a dog. And some of these traits we are going to discuss in this video, you may end up getting in your Shiba. Or if you're unlucky, you can get a Shiba that gets all the bad traits. Some of these things are aggressive, disobedient, and hated being loved. Meaning the Shiba doesn't like being a cuddly, feely dog. So you need to respect its boundaries and read its body language. But you need to start training early on. And basically, never stop training this breed. But don't get a Shiba Inu if you have a family. In general, Shibas are the worst family dogs. They're great dogs for a single lifestyle, but not for a family lifestyle. If you have a family while getting a Shiba, you most likely need to rehome your Shiba. They will most likely end up in a rescue or in a shelter, because Shibas may aggressively bite the kids. You may see it by looking at the Shiba's face that he will bite if any of the kids come closer. The reason for this is often because the Shiba has a typical non-child personality, and the kids often have a much higher energy than the Shiba has. If you have kids, you need to separate the kids and the Shiba. If you have taught the kids how to behave around a dog, you always need to supervise the kids and the Shiba. Because if your kid is climbing on the dog, or shoving their hands in its face, or taking away their toys or bones, and teasing them with their own stuff, that also needs to be corrected. Many people allow their kids to be borderline abusive and call the dog aggressive. If someone were treating you in a disrespectful way, you eventually would have said something, right? The Shiba's growling is their way of saying stop. They need to be respected on both ends. I specifically talk about teaching children to respect animals because most people already teach the dogs this behavior, but allow the younger children to treat the animals as toys and call them cute. And if the kid and the dog have a different type of energy, They won't spend a long time around each other. Let's talk about the downside of their independence. Shiba Inus are always on the alert and very independent dogs, but professionals often describe them as dogs with high energy levels. A stubborn Shiba might ignore commands they don't see as important to them. In a typical scenario, this could mean testing you or deciding to follow their own plan. If you are going to get yourself a Shiba, and when you are going to give them a command, he will from time to time start to roll their eyes at you. In the start, you're going to think it's funny, but over time you will get annoyed. In worst case, it can be an important command such as leave it because it's dangerous food for dogs, or a recall command. Then it's suddenly not funny anymore. You can end up with a Shiba that you never properly learned to go on heel when you are walking. If that's the case, then the best you can hope for is that he won't constantly try to rip the leash out of your hand. And if you go off leash, then it's bye-bye for a while, because they will most likely run away for a while, and they will come back on their own terms. And you just need to learn that in Shiba language, the word come is just a suggestion. Your dog training should be consistent and firm, but still gentle, or you would get problems ahead, or rather other people will get problems, because they will only be loyal to you as the owner once they start to settle. And you need to establish who the boss is, because all Shibas are born to believe it is them who is the boss. Actually, they will most likely never stop believing it. Instead, they will learn to humor you. Shibas are one of the dogs with the most personality and special attitude. They are among the top in that category. Sometimes you can see it while their head starts to think. They will bark at you and look at what they want. And they do that a few more times. But even if they are independent, they're more like a struppy toddler than a baby. So you constantly need to be monitoring what they are doing. I imagine it's like being a kindergarten teacher. But make sure that you start with the main things when it comes to training. This includes wearing harnesses, basic commands, touching their toes, getting their baths, and brushing teeth. Once they decide that they are smarter than you, they won't be willing to learn anymore. Some Shibas are so stubborn after you get to a certain age, they are not willing to learn anymore. So if your dog has learned some bad habits, it can be a challenge to unlearn it. Now combine that stubbornness with their high energy levels. They have a lot of energy to burn, so they need constant action. This could mean playing or running. For example, if a Shiba doesn't get enough exercise, they might get destructive and anxious. They can offer you free digging of your yard, then free chewing on furniture. And I only chew your shoes because they're soul food. But find a way to outsmart their energy requirements. This way, you can both enjoy their high energy levels. Researchers from Japan surveyed the behavioral profiles of 56 pure breeds. Shiba Inus were in the focus here. This survey included 96 small animal veterinarians who participated in a questionnaire. They found a lot of differences among breeds in all behavioral traits they saw. Some studies claim there is not a huge difference between males and females. But these scientists found that males can be more excited, also defensive, active, and more destructive than females. Throughout the survey, they found something interesting. Shiba Inus were often marked with unfavorable traits by vets. This might be a result of a personal experience, meaning that vets were answering these questions. If they had repeated bad experiences, this might have affected their answers. The possible conclusion is that these traits can be from bad breeding, but also because they didn't get enough care during the puppy stages. This is the period where they are most vulnerable as soon as they come into the world, but also because of the sudden market increase in demand. Although they have high energy requirements, these dogs are in high demand. In the United States, the waiting process to get a Shiba Inu can last for up to 3 years. Don't be so surprised by this fact. Some first-time pet owners do not want a dog with high energy demands. This is because the responsibilities can be demanding. Soon we're going to show you a young woman's experience that called her dog a land shark that gave her multiple scars, and she did not have any dog experience. But experienced pet owners might want this challenge. They all have a general knowledge of the training and socialization needs of a dog. So this existing knowledge about dogs can help you. That's your advantage that you have trained dogs in the past. But training a Shiba is very different, and your knowledge of training other breeds goes right out the window. So you need to have that in the back of your mind. Before you get a Shiba Inu, make sure you are ready to meet their activity levels. But it's important to start the training at the earliest stage as possible, which we will start to cover in a bit. But socialization should be a big part of raising a Shiba Inu, unless you want a problem with your Shiba, particularly socializing with them early. So, taking the puppy to training or supervised dog parks, etc., is a must because by default they will be hostile to dogs and people they don't know. But it all depends on you as a person, whether you are prepared for a dog breed like this. Even if you have experience with dogs in the past, that doesn't matter because Shibas are unlike any other dog. They are best described as a dog on dog hardware, but they are being run on a cat software. They also want to be at the center of every event. They can be territorial around people and other dogs. They want to be dominant in every situation. Even though some Shibas might think, I'm not overreacting, I'm just emotionally expressive. Shiba Inus can also be sensitive to unusual environments. If the surroundings don't seem familiar to them, they will do everything to avoid that situation. We're talking about a new environment. It can be the nearest beach, river, or park. Shibas are very territorial. They can guard their food and will protect it at all costs, including, but not limited to, growling, barking, and snapping if you try to take it. For example, if there is something unknown to your Shiba, for example a hot dog stand or a big bear, he may prevent you from going out of the room or towards the area because the Shiba considers it a danger. Or if your Shiba is territorial over food, and you have other pets, or you are the owner, it gets within a few feet away from their food. They may bark, nip, or chase away those who make the Shiba feel threatened and will take their food. Shibas aren't particularly good dogs. They're okay people dogs. In that sense, they just generally avoid strangers until they warm up to them. But they really don't seem to enjoy the company of strange dogs. In a lot of situations, a Shiba Inu may try to attack other dogs. Small or big dogs don't necessarily matter, even if the other dog is keeping it to itself or playing by themselves. But that is in the worst case scenario. The Shibas can get really anxious and start to growl at other dogs they don't know. At the same time, they can coexist with other animals they know at home. You should try to socialize with your Shiba early on to get them to accept them with other dogs. But in worst case scenarios, it won't work. Then you need to keep him away from other dogs that they don't know. You can get a Shiba that is affectionate with adults, but being the opposite when it comes to children. The Shiba may even get aggressive depending on your socializing training. But you have other problems as well. Their natural instinct to escape due to their high energy. It is only because of their adventurous and independent nature. Not every Shiba Inu will develop this instinct for escaping. This is only their curiosity speaking. They enjoy jumping fences and slipping out of collars. If you live in a house and have a backyard, remember to close your doors because you never know when they can dive into a new adventure. Our advice is to keep your doors always closed. During the puppyhood, you must pay extra attention to this behavior. Make sure they always feel safe at home. This will prevent them from having their next forbidden adventure. If you feel like that is not enough, then build a routine with your Shiba Inu. Practice some sort of mental simulation every day at the same time. This will encourage them to wait for you. They enjoy spending time with their owners, and this is a way to keep them excited. Keeping them safe at home is one thing to do, but keeping the people around Shiba Inu safe is another. People without any dogs in their homes might get scared by the Shiba screams. They have a really strong prey drive because they were bred to flush out small animals in high grass or bush. And if you have a backyard where bunnies, squirrels, and other small animals like to hang out, that won't last for long after you get a Shiba. You will start to pick up dead rabbits, squirrels, mice, etc. So over time, your local wildlife will learn that your backyard will be no-fly zone, and that everything exists in your yard will eventually die by your little killing machine. By all means, we don't have a problem with Shibas running around and killing small animals. It's what they are bred to do. But you also need to accept the precious gift your Shiba will give you from time to time, a dead mouse or rat on your kitchen floor. Shiba Inus are also famous for their screams. It is a high-pitched voice they produce. It surprises even experienced pet owners. They use this scream in various situations. They might be too excited when they see you coming from work, or in cases of frustration, they show their unwillingness with this voice. What you need to know is that being vocal does not always mean being aggressive. Shibas often have a lack of patience and snap quicker than most dogs. This means they are only reactive dogs, and reactive is not aggression, but can lead to it. Try to check if there is something in its environment that triggers the screaming. It can be a bug, uncomfortable bedding, or some object. It can be a long process until you detect what causes the screaming, but you will succeed only with constant work. let's go over some practical tips. No matter which dog breed you choose, you need to be well prepared. Every breed brings certain challenges. You need to research well about the breed and then move to getting one. You need to make sure you are ready for every aspect of owning that dog. We will start with an important consideration: socialization. Do you know that intelligence doesn't always mean obedient? To have an obedient dog, you must pay attention to socialization. That job is yours. Start with socialization as soon as possible. This way, you will have a dog with good traits. They will use their intelligence wisely and when needed, but also will know how to behave in different situations. Socialize your Shiba Inu with people, other dogs, and new environments. This is the time when dogs are most open to building positive behaviors. Without proper socialization and training, they can develop fear, anxiety, or even aggression. They might react badly to strangers, animals, or new situations, and these issues can be with them for life. Let them meet people of all ages, from kids to seniors. Introduce them to other pets and animals. Walk them on various surfaces and let them explore new textures. These early experiences will help them grow into confident dogs. But be careful because they don't like this a lot. Dog parks sometimes are not the best for them. There are too many snotty dogs getting in their space. This makes them nervous. They might become too vocal or aggressive. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't take them to the dog park, because you should absolutely do, to get them used to other dogs early on. But you should only be a bit more wary about having a Shiba in the dog park. And even if you trust them, we don't recommend you to not let them off the leash. A better situation would be to buy a long leash, so the dogs can roam freely and aren't limited to just a few feet or meters. People who attend puppy meetups often notice that Shibas have no problem challenging dogs twice their size. Sometimes they even seem to have an "I run this place" attitude. Every socialization is crucial for Shiba Inus. It is because their independent nature can make them challenging to manage. The 8th to 24th week is the socialization window. Don't miss this critical period. Think of it like raising a baby. What a puppy learns during this stage will form its behavior for life. There is a debate about the longevity of this period. Some say it is a period between the 8th and 16th week, but some experts say that it can extend to the 24th week. This is because puppies can still learn in this period, and being up to the 24th week makes sense. During this time, your Shiba Inu's brain is developing fast, so include learning and socialization activities. This will help them grow into well-behaved adults. But if you skip this window, it can lead to problems. During this period, you need to introduce your Shiba to different people, also pets and environments. To do this, follow our tips. First, use the socialization window period. If you get an older Shiba Inu, then do not rush. Take things slow. They need to find their own pace. Start introducing them to new people and see how they react. Then introduce them to places and situations, but try not to be pushy. You will see how they react and continue according to their reaction. It is the same process for every breed, but as we said, you need to put extra effort into Shibas because of their high socialization needs. Owners say that Shibas will stay calm only when they are with their owners. There are cases when Shibas might bite strangers. That is why you need to be careful when you are walking with them. Try to warn people if there is a need to. If you have another pet in your home, they might copy their behavior. Second, you need to focus on controlled interactions. Make sure you make a routine for your Shiba. Schedule playdates with calm pets and their owners. This way you can ensure your dog has a positive and calm environment. Also ensure your dog doesn't come to a situation where it faces stress. Then after you make the first baby steps, move on. Try to introduce your dog to new environments. Take your Shiba Inu on walks in different neighborhoods and parks, or something of your own choice. If you feel like your dog is progressing, then reward it. Whether it is a treat, cuddling, or a new toy, it is a good choice. This will encourage your Shiba to engage in new experiences. After you feel that your dog passed the socialization test, move on to training. Here are some practical tips on how to train your Shiba. Start with simple training during puppyhood, or attend professional classes because they build good behavior and improve communication between you and your dog. Consistency and patience are key. Shibas may test boundaries. With this, they need a firm and positive approach. These dogs are loyal and intelligent, but training is something that you must do. The best commands to start with is sit, stay, and down. It is also the easiest way to start the obedience training. While over time, as your Shiba have learned the basics, we recommend you to start with more advanced commands such as recall, leave it, etc. We have experienced that it also will be useful to learn how to say sit, stay, and down in sign language. That is in the case if your dog runs away from you in a noisy area or in a traffic with a lot of cars, and you want him to stay or sit until you come over to him. We recommend you take a proactive way of training your Shiba. From the moment you get your Shiba, you need to start to show him physical affection as cuddles, crate training, touching the snoot, the paws, the ears, etc. In the beginning, that will of course also be a part of the training. In the past, dog training included punishment. Recently, positive reinforcement using rewards has become more common. These methods impact the dog's welfare in a different way. Due to the negative breed reputation in training, people will think you are an expert trainer, even in cases where you teach them only basic commands. We can agree that teaching them to bark commands can be hard. This is because they will bark at anything and anyone. The Cambridge University did a survey including 364 dog owners to compare training methods. The goal was to assess their effectiveness and the effects on behavior. When they asked about the 7 basic tasks their dogs performed, the answers differed a lot. 66% used vocal punishment, then 12% used physical punishment, but 60% used praise as a reward. Some owners, 51%, used food rewards, and 11% used play as a reward. The results were not a surprise. Dogs trained using rewards performed better, and punishment had no effect on obedience. Owners also reported 16 common problematic behaviors. Dogs trained with punishment showed more issues. Dogs trained with rewards showed no increase in problem behaviors. Problematic behaviors often show poor well-being. It can be anxiety and may lead to rehoming or leaving the dog at the shelter. Punishment increased these issues. It seems that owners control the dog's behavior with punishment, but this only worsens the situation. It increases the stress and confusion in dogs, and starting with negative reinforcement and later trying with positive enforcement can make the job harder. And the important part is that it did not improve obedience. Positive training methods are more effective and better for a dog's well-being. This study proves this. But also we recommend you raise your dog with positive reinforcement methods. To train dogs, you must be patient and consistent. Positive reinforcement is the best way to teach your Shibas. Harsh methods will only make them do things on their own terms even more. Positive reinforcement might extend the training process, but you need to be consistent. A huge problem with Shibas is their screaming, and positive reinforcement helps here. The problem is that you never know what the reason behind this scream is. In case of discomfort or illness, they might be too vocal. We understand that this can be challenging, but it is not unsolvable. You can fix this behavior with consistent observation and working together. Whenever you notice your dog is getting too vocal, start working on it. In the moment when it stops, give your dog a treat. This way, your Shiba will learn it's best to be quiet. Shiba Inus want constant daily activity to keep their physical and mental health. Without enough exercise, they can become bored or destructive and find themselves a new hobby as a decorator with teeth marks. But you can do this with regular walks. Interactive play and mental stimulation can help them reduce unwanted behavior. Try to include puzzle toys or training sessions. They have a good influence on any dog breed. Shiba Inus are very energetic. You should know this before you adopt one. Exercise is the most efficient way they can channel their energy, but start very slow. A puppy Shiba may not be as energetic as an adult dog. In the beginning, only a walk around the block is a great start. After you overcome this challenge, move on to hiking. Dogs love being outdoors. This is their way of traveling and starting new adventures. If the weather is not good, then stay at home. But exercise, because they need a way to channel their energy. Start walking the stairs a few times. Then if you notice boredom in your dog, play hide and seek. This is also a sort of mental stimulation for your dog. And routines. Dogs need routines. Make sure you take them out at a specific period of the day. Having a routine is good for both humans and dogs. We understood almost everything about Shiba Inus. But what about vocalization? Do we understand their language? We came over a research study that has just started. And in this AI times, it's going to be interesting to see what the future will bring. And what they wanted to figure out is what the vocalizations from the Shiba means. The researchers collected data on Shiba Inu's vocalizations from YouTube videos. These videos covered various scenarios, including playtime, interactions with owners, and reactions to unfamiliar situations, and also expressions of frustration or excitement. The use of public content allowed them to collect data from different environments. They divided the videos based on the situations in which the vocalizations occurred. situations of play, stress, or interaction. They managed to create the Shiba script with phonetic transcription methods. This means they heard the voices, described them, and then wrote them down to explain. They also used advanced acoustic analysis tools and algorithms. The team focused on identifying repetitive vocalization patterns. The conclusion is that Shiba Inus might communicate through sounds. This is only the start of studying dog vocalization. Who knows where science will lead us? And what else can we learn about dog communication? Besides the love we have for dogs, we must have also financial preparations. Shiba Inu ownership can come with big financial responsibilities. Costs may include food, grooming, veterinary care, and training classes. Also, secure fencing or harnesses. Unforeseen medical issues or behavioral challenges could add to the expenses. So before you decide about a Shiba Inu, make a long-term financial commitment. The first expense comes when you decide to get one. The breeder's adoption list can be very long, specifically if you want to get your dog from a reputable breeder. But also, people abandon Shiba Inus a lot. Again, because of the difficulties of raising them. And some shelters or breeders will only allow you to get a Shiba if you have had experience with a Shiba before. That will also be an extra cost. Then the vaccinations, deworming, and microchipping come. They're similar for every dog breed. They depend only on your geographic location. You might want to check the prices at the local vet before you get a dog. The expenses do not stop. Then you must buy the essential supplies: crates, beds, collars, food bowls, and toys. Every month expenses include food, annual expenses are grooming and vet visits. The annual expenses depend on how healthy the dog is. Also on how often you want to take your dog for grooming. Be prepared that your Shiba Inu will get old. With aging, they might get many diseases. Be prepared for any unexpected situation. But don't take my word that a Shiba can be a real challenge. Listen up for what this young lady said about owning a Shiba.
Fear, aggression, stubborn Shiba owner here. She is my first dog ever, and I got her in my mid-20s. She is a lot of work. The first few weeks, I cried every night because she was a literal land shark that never cared when she hurt you. I've spent a lot of money on behaviorists and trainers, and she goes to daycare once a week. I work from home, just so she can socialize. She's extremely picky with her food, and it drives me insane. Some days I feel like she needs a dog sibling because she seems bored. But realistically, she'll always be a one-dog household because I'm not sure if she'd handle another dog properly. I love her, and I would never, ever rehome her, even though I have multiple scars from her. Would I ever get another Shiba? No. Do I regret getting her? No. I would highly suggest a Shiba that comes from a well-known dog line and getting a trainer/behaviorist early on. Shibas are super tough, but rewarding to own. Really happy that I can afford to support her needs, but not all can.
In a way, I have thrown a lot of negative stuff your way about the Shiba, but it's only negative if you are not prepared. This is not an ordinary dog. But after listening to everything we have said in this video, and you're still deciding to get a Shiba, the best mental state you should have when you get this dog is to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Like, prepare for the Shiba to get all the bad habits and hope that it doesn't get any of it. Can you still keep the Shiba, even if you get many of the worst traits we talked about above? If we're going to give you any advice on getting a Shiba, it would be to think of the cons we have talked about and just have it in the back of your mind. Think of the kind of lifestyle you have. And further, 1. Go to a shelter and ask for their advice and opinion, whether they think you should get a Shiba according to your lifestyle and experience. 2. Try to ask the shelters if it's possible to be a foster for Shibas. But just meeting up with Shibas will not give you any deep experience with the breed, as they have the person they love and are loyal to. As you can see, this unique breed is not for everyone and requires a dedicated, experienced owner who's ready for a challenge. But what if you're a low-income earner who is looking for the perfect dog to fit your budget and lifestyle? Don't worry, we've got you covered. Imagine finding a loving, loyal companion who won't break the bank with grooming costs or expensive health issues. A dog that's perfectly suited to your living space and activity level. Sounds amazing, right? Well, we've compiled a list of the 7 best dog breeds for low-income families, and you won't believe who made the cut. From lovable mutts to low-maintenance pure breeds, we'll help you find your ideal furry friend. Just click the link in the description or the link on the screen to check out our next video and discover your perfect match. Trust us, your future self and wallet will thank you.